I hate, I hate, I hate that I gotta go this direction because I'm so against this. But at a certain point, you gotta call a spade a spade. Salute Ben Daniel. You got to. Because what we are seeing happening here in the WNBA and people who are supposed to be down for you. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you that because your teammates that you need to agree with everything. I'm not sitting here telling you that because your teammates you have to feel a certain kind of way. But what I'm telling you when your teammates is that you should acknowledge who's on your team. You should be realistic to the impact of a teammate and what your teammate has done for you and for everybody else on the team. Now, we're looking at a situation in which Caitlin Clark is being largely ignored by every single top three for MVP there is. Being ignored, whether it's Ion, CBS, ESPN. They go out of their way to exclude Caitlin Clark from conversation. So when posed with the question of who they have as a top four for MVP picks, Aaliyah Boston and Candace Parker gave their opinion. And quite frankly, it never ceases to amaze. It simply never ceases to amaze. How quickly they can forget, especially one Aaliyah Boston can forget just how important and who Caitlin Clark has been to her career and who Caitlin Clark is to this basketball team. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, everyone, to Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Like the video, hype the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. So you know where I'm going with this. Because I really don't want to go here. But when you are a player like an Aaliyah Boston, who is supposed to be teammate, friend, confidant, one would think that you would acknowledge the fact that your teammate is having a record-setting year right now. Yet, when these two women jumped on a podcast together, because they do their podcast together that nobody watches, largely, they put on here their top four. And their top four is A'ja Wilson, no argument, Olivia Miles, Kelsey Mitchell, and Paige Beckers. And Caitlin Clark can't be found. The CBS dropped one yesterday with A'ja Wilson, Olivia Miles, and Kelsey Mitchell. We've seen previous ones that have had Breanna Stewart and Paige Beckers, in addition to A'ja Wilson, Olivia Miles, and Kelsey Mitchell. We have yet to see one that includes Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston is watching Caitlin Clark right now play as good a stretch of basketball as has been played in the history of the WNBA. And yeah, you could also argue that Kelsey Mitchell is having a stretch of ball that is close to as good as any stretch we've seen from a scoring perspective in the history of the WNBA, as she is one game short of, I guess, tying Asia Wilson, is it, for most 20-point games in a row. But scoring is scoring, and and production is production. These are two separate things. Just because you're the best scorer on the team, and yeah, I may even argue that Kelsey Mitchell is the best scorer on this Indiana Fever team. She is scoring at a crazy clip. She is a bucket getter. Absolutely. And she is tremendously efficient, generally speaking. But we have got to actually recognize that she has become this because of a player that joined her 3 years ago in Caitlin Clark. Because prior to Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell averaged about 17, 18 points per game. She shot a much lower field goal percentage than she does now. Her field goal percentage playing with Caitlin Clark is about 5 points higher than it was before she started teaming up with Caitlin Clark. But this is who Aaliyah Boston and Candace Parker put up as their players. This is who they put up as their top 4 MVP candidates. So I tell you this. These women forgot. Or Aaliyah Boston must have forgot what Caitlin Clark has done for her career. And that of Kelsey Mitchell. She's been sitting in there to watch it. This is the same Caitlin Clark who just dropped 29 points and 10 assists. The same Clark who has now 20 career 20-point 10 assist games. No other player in WNBA history has more than 10. The same Clark who just became the fastest player in WNBA or NBA history to 700 career assists, faster than LeBron James. These are not subtle numbers. The ranking is. This is the lack of accountability that exists within the WNBA, man. And so here we are. And I made a point because I wanted to graph all this out. Now, once you have the information in front of you, it's your decision to do with it as you please. But over the last 11 games, Caitlin Clark is averaging 26 points, 9 plus assists, over 50% shooting. These are facts. I'm not making it up. Has there been a stretch of basketball in the WNBA where a player has averaged 26 points a game for 10 straight games? Probably so. I'm guessing Kelsey Mitchell would be one because of what she's done over the past month. So you could say probably she's averaged over 27 points per game over a 10-game period of time, 11-game period of time. But Kelsey Mitchell doesn't grab any rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell doesn't dish any assists. So her production is all scoring based. Her production is not creation for others and making everybody else around her better. Last I checked, that's what basketball is about. So when you jump on the Kelsey Mitchell train and talk about stuff like she's the MVP of the Indiana Fever, according to Jason Whitlock, in this argument he's having with Venom, which I still got to do a video on that one because that one's going to be fun, but I need time because it's a lengthy one. But you have something like that where he's promoting that type of nonsense. Well, then why the heck wasn't Kyrie Irving the MVP of the Cleveland Cavaliers when he played with LeBron James? Because all he did was score the basketball for the most part. Why are scorers ignored so often in the NBA? Because we all know that there's more to scoring than that. There's more to basketball than scoring. There's a reason for it. It wasn't like Michael Jordan averaged 30 and 1. He averaged 30 and 5 or 6 assists and 5 or 6 rebounds, and he shot 50+%, and he was elite defensively. of the players on this list. Kelsey Mitchell's terrible defensively. Terrible. Paige Bueckers is very below average, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Caitlin Clark, if you want to say she's terrible, fine, I'll take it. Olivia Miles, I've watched her defend. While statistically, for whatever reason, she's considered a very good defender, when I watch her play defense, she's like a turnstile. The only legit defensive player in this group, to me, is A'ja Wilson. And let me start off by telling you this. A'ja Wilson will win the MVP again. A'ja Wilson's going to win the MVP again. She's having the best season of all the players in the WNBA. That's what this shit is supposed to all be about. Who is having the best season in the league? It is A'ja Wilson. Even though Caitlin Clark is having a record-setting season that's never been done before, A'ja Wilson is playing so damn well for the duration of the year that it makes it almost impossible, unless Caitlin Clark goes on some type of outrageous heater over the final 10 games, for her to possibly be in conversation with A'ja Wilson. Because Kelsey Mitchell has no shot, if you're being honest. Because Kelsey Mitchell is not the best player of the Indiana Fever, no matter what a Jason Whitlock says, where he states, the best ability is availability. Caitlin Clark did not ask to be on a minutes restriction by Stephanie White. She didn't ask for that. She was against it. She was completely against it. Now let's look at the Paige Bueckers comparison. Paige Bueckers. The Wings have gotten better, but the Wings have also started to fade. The Wings also added some players around Paige Bueckers. Remember that. When Caitlin Clark showed up in Indiana, guess what? It was Caitlin Clark showing up in Indiana. It wasn't they adding a bunch of players with her. The next year, as their second year, they added a bunch of bums who decided to be turncoats and not be good for the team, and she obviously got hurt. The Dallas Wings right now are 3-7 in their last 10, and Paige Bueckers has shown me time and time again in the fourth quarter of games that she disappears. She largely goes invisible. If you haven't been watching, believe me, Paige Bueckers is invisible in the fourth quarters of most games. I'm not making it up. I've watched it. I've calculated it. I've watched her not take a single shot in a close game in the fourth quarter, or take one shot. Over the last 6 games, Paige Bueckers has, 7 games. She has a 6-point game, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Can you imagine if Caitlin Clark put up some crap like that? What people would say? She has a 16-4-6, 23-5-2, lost both those games. A 17-5-4, a 17-1-1, 23-4-8. These are all losses. A 22-3-8. Okay, game. 29-6-6. They lost to Indiana. And a 21-2-3. I thought she was a point guard. That's what they claim. She's having a good year. She's averaging 20.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, 5.8 assists. She's having a good year. Her team is fading down the stretch. It's fading. They're 3-7 in their last 10. They're now sitting in the 8 seed in the playoffs. They're falling off the map right now. They lost tonight again to the Golden State Valkyries. What did Paige Bueckers do in the fourth quarter of this game? She was 21 points, 8 of 18. That's less than 50%, 1 of 5 from 3. She committed 7 turnovers. I wonder who will talk about that. 3 assists and 7 turnovers. This was tonight. Okay, this is what happened tonight. It just happens that I'm looking at it right now. In the fourth quarter of this game, as an example, I haven't even looked at it, so I don't even know. So I'm going through the first 3 minutes of the fourth quarter. Paige Bueckers hasn't taken a shot. Wow. Paige Bueckers, she wasn't in the game for the first 4 minutes. How is Paige Bueckers not playing the first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter? But hey, Paige Bueckers, turnover. Paige Bueckers, foul. Wow. Paige Bueckers, turnover. Paige Bueckers had a layup. They're down by 12. I'm sorry, 10-foot jumper, down by 12. She hit a 13-footer. They're down by 10. She missed a 3. She committed a foul. She committed another foul. She hit a 16-footer. They're down by 6 with 39 seconds to go. Now she has a free throw, a couple free throws. So she had 8 points in 6 minutes. This is the most she's done in the fourth quarter. But her turnovers were not helpful, and they lost the game by 8 points. So she scored 10 points. She wanted to start scoring there. So I guess I was wrong on this one. But so she scored 10 of her 21 in the final 6 minutes. So for 3.5 quarters, Paige Bueckers had 11 points. And they were getting the shit kicked out of them. They were down 16, 18 going into the fourth quarter. Paige Bueckers had 11 points. So this is actually telling in another way. Where was Paige Bueckers for the first 3.5 quarters? Because 11 points. If Caitlin Clark did this, people would say Caitlin Clark is a complete piece of trash. We all know it. It's been proven before. But Paige Bueckers, to me, is not even a conversational topic in the MVP race. Olivia Miles is. Olivia Miles is a conversational topic in the MVP race. I made this graphic for people to see. There is a reason I have A'ja Wilson as number 1, because as you see, of these 7 categories, she is first in 5 of them. And she's shooting a ridiculous 41.3% from 3, but I think 3-point shooting percentages are largely based on the shot selection that you get, the shots that you take, the duress in which you take them, the difficulty and distance from which you take them from. So Caitlin Clark is 5th in 3-point shooting, but I don't think anyone would argue that Caitlin Clark is the worst of the shooters in this group. I watched Olivia Miles shoot air balls from kissing the 3-point line. Kissing the 3-point line. Olivia Miles largely takes wide open threes. Kelsey Mitchell takes a lot of wide open threes. Paige Bueckers takes wide open threes. A'ja Wilson's not taking a 3 unless it's wide open. Now, we can also look at the fact that Caitlin Clark is the worst in terms of field goal shooting. So again, I am completely objective and not subjective in how I report this. These are factual stats. Never in the history of the WNBA has a player finished in the top 3 in scoring and first or second in assists. Never in the history of the WNBA has that ever happened. Caitlin Clark is going to do that this season unless something really crazy happens this year. She leads the league in assists right now. She's 3rd in scoring behind Kelsey Mitchell. She's literally 1 basket a game behind Kelsey Mitchell in scoring. 1 basket. 1 2-point shot. That is the difference between her and Kelsey Mitchell. And Kelsey Mitchell plays 2.1 minutes more per game and takes 1.7 more shots per game. More statistical analysis. Caitlin Clark shoots at a higher percentage from 2-point range than Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell shoots at a higher percentage from 3-point range. But we all know, if you've watched, that Kelsey Mitchell gets more open looks because Caitlin Clark is the one setting her up for these shots. Caitlin Clark's scoring efficiency is higher than Kelsey Mitchell's, 1.435 to 1.412. Okay? So you have to look at all the statistics and all of what, and you have to also use your eyes. You've got to use your eyes. Your eyes tell you, if you've been watching, that Caitlin Clark creates a lot of what Kelsey Mitchell gets. A lot of the opportunities that she receives are created by Caitlin Clark. And you would think that Aaliyah Boston would have seen this every single game. But magically, she doesn't. And that's why I hate going in the direction of calling Aaliyah Boston. Yes, this is the definition of a snake in the grass. This is what a snake in the grass is. What would it have taken for Aaliyah Boston to say Caitlin Clark is in this top 4? How can Caitlin Clark not be in this top 4? Aaliyah Boston the other day said that Kelsey Mitchell is the MVP. Why? Because she scores points? because she scores points. That's not what makes a player the MVP. People will argue that if you remove Caitlin Clark and you got Kelsey Mitchell, well, you're going to be a better team because, Caitlin Clark turns the ball over and Caitlin Clark does this. Let me tell you something, man. The Indiana Fever have been winning a lot of late. They've won 4 in a row. They've won 10 of 12. Caitlin Clark, 9 of 12, 9 of 11. Caitlin Clark's had games of 45 and 10, 17 and 7, 27 and 11, 17 and 5, 32 and 7, 26 and a triple double, 26, 10 and 10, 19 and 10, 20 and 8, 26 and 11, 22 and 10, 29 and 10, and 26 and 9. She's averaging 26 points and 9 assists per game over her last 11 games, something that has never been done before. Not by any one of these players. Because one, none of them averaged over 6 assists a game, besides Olivia Miles at 6.1. So you'll never have that statistic happen for them. And imagine the fact that Caitlin Clark has had so many layups missed by teammates. That 8.3 should probably be 10. But because they miss so many bunnies, she loses out a lot. So she's obviously first in assists. She's third in scoring. She's fourth in rebounds. Sure, rebounds gone down a little bit this year. And steals, it's gone down a little bit. The blocks, she's third. But let's also look at the fact that this team is humming like it hasn't hummed before because Caitlin Clark is in the lineup. If you took Caitlin Clark out of the lineup, they would have lost a number of these games. And yes, the Kelsey Mitchell fans will sit here and tell you, oh, well, they were undefeated when Caitlin Clark was out of the lineup. Okay. It happens. It's part of basketball. Happens all the time in the NBA where the best player misses the game, the team wins. Does that not make that player the best player on the team? This stuff is becoming ridiculous. Now, I've already eliminated Kelsey Mitchell and Paige Beckers. The Olivia Miles, Caitlin Clark argument to me is fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. Because this is where you get into the conversation of Olivia Miles is second in 4 of these 7 categories. And if you use that as the barometer, then maybe she's having a better year than Caitlin Clark. But if you look at the numbers, it's very, 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 very slim. It's not some massive number. Even the shooting percentage of Olivia Miles has dropped a bunch. She's not shooting 57% from the floor anymore. She's shooting 49.7. Still very, very good. Excellent, in fact, for a guard. Excellent. But as her defense, as she's seen defenses adjust to her game, well, what do you think has happened? The shots have gotten more difficult. She's 8th in the league in scoring. She's having right now the 7th best season of rookies in the history of the league. And you know who number 1 was? Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark finished 4th in WNBA MVP voting as a rookie. And Caitlin Clark is having a better season this year by a long shot than she did as a rookie. Caitlin Clark is shooting a career best 45%. A player that's taking 7 of her 15 shots per game from 3-point range. And we're not talking kissing the line 3-point range. We're talking about 28 to 30 feet away. 3-point range. These are facts. I'm not making it up. I have no reason to make it up. Some folks will sit here and tell you, well, Olivia Miles has led the Minnesota Lynx to the best record in the WNBA. As if Olivia Miles didn't go onto a team that has the best coach in the league, has elite talent on it with Courtney Williams and Kayla McBride, the addition of Natasha Howard, and obviously Napheesa Collier was out. And yes, have the Lynx been better than expected without Napheesa Collier? Absolutely, they have been. And it's a credit to everybody, not just Olivia Miles. That's a credit to Cheryl Reeve allowing Olivia Miles to run an offense that suits her skill. Because no one knew what Olivia Miles would be. She wasn't even the best player on her college basketball team. She literally ran away from Notre Dame because she wanted to be the number one option because Hannah Hidalgo was just that much better than her. Again, more facts. So we're sitting here right now and we're looking at who is the MVP. I said it again. A'ja Wilson will win the MVP unless something drastic occurs. You want to know how many double-doubles Caitlin Clark has? Remember, points and assists this season, 10. How many does Olivia Miles have? 2. How many does Paige Beckers have? 2. How many does Kelsey Mitchell have? None. A'ja Wilson has 16, but we know those are points and rebounds, not assists. A point rebound double-double is not the same as a point assist double-double. Getting a double-double with points and assists is far more difficult. The only statistic that would be more difficult for a double-double would be points and blocks, pretty much, or points and steals. But even in that case, you control that as a player. I can't control if you throw up a brick when I give you a layup. I can't control that. I put you in a position to score. Now it's your job to score. And my eyes have been watching. I have watched Olivia Miles statistically not be as good. I have watched her now have these 3 for 13s, these, 5 for 14s, these 6 of 16s, these 5 of 16s, these 1 of 10s that no one paid attention to when they happened. I've watched her have the 5 turnovers, the 4 turnovers, the 5 turnovers, the 5 turnovers. This is in the last 5 games. She's had at least 4 turnovers 4 times and 5 turnovers 3 times. Where's the accountability there for Olivia Miles? And this is with Napheesa Collier on the floor. There was a stretch of basketball where she had 6, 3, 5, 6, 4, 1, and 5. Like, she's committing turnovers too now. Don't get it twisted. She's committing the turnovers now too. No one's discounting the season she's having. No one is. She's playing more minutes than Caitlin Clark. The funny thing about all this is that Caitlin Clark is actually playing the least amount of minutes of all these players. She's averaging 30.9. A'ja Wilson, 32.2. Kelsey Mitchell, 33 minutes. Paige Beckers, 33.4. And Olivia Miles, 31.1. Again, facts. Caitlin Clark is 1 basket away from having the same scoring average as Kelsey Mitchell. She scores at a higher clip than Paige Beckers. She scores at a higher clip than Olivia Miles. Look, at the end of the day, I know what's going to happen. A'ja Wilson will win the award again because I don't care about fatigue. She's having the best season. She is. I'm not discounting. She's having the best season of them all, despite the fact that Caitlin Clark is having a never been done before season. That's what's so crazy about it. That's what makes it so difficult. Yeah, and that's also what makes it so irritating when you listen to people like Jason Whitlock say Kelsey Mitchell's the best player on the Fever or the MVP of the Fever. No, she's not. Or that people say Olivia Miles should win MVP. No, she shouldn't. Have you looked at the Las Vegas Aces roster? If A'ja Wilson doesn't play, they're very unlikely to win against anyone decent. Really, realistically, they're not going to win against anyone decent. But hey, again, the conversation, you see the statistics. Y'all see the numbers. They're in your face. You can look at them and decide how you want. Even when you look at something like field goal percentage. Caitlin Clark is actually 38th in field goal percentage in the WNBA. And for players who have taken at least 15.4 shots per game, for which she is 5th in the league, she actually shoots at a higher percentage than Ka Copper, who's 3rd in shots taken per game. She is behind Paige. She is behind Kelsey. She is behind A'ja. Remember, she's also the one creating for her teammates. She's shooting a higher percentage than Marina Mabrey, who's at 15.3. She's shooting just a little bit lower than Brianna Stewart, who's a 6'4" power forward at 46.3. She's shooting just below Alicia Gray, who's a 46.3. She's shooting 5.4 points higher than Ryan Howard at 40.8. I mean, she's shooting 3 points higher than Angel Reese, who's we all know. She's shooting 3 points higher than Sabrina Ionescu. She's ahead of Gabby Williams, Natisha Heidemann, Arike Gumbawale, Flau'jae Johnson, Bridget Carlton, Skylar Diggins. Sorry about that. She's not having some terrible shooting year, folks. You've watched her game evolve. Her mid-range game has become exceptional. Caitlin Clark has gotten better before our eyes. She's gotten better before our eyes. Now, does that make her someone that's going to win the MVP? Probably not. Unless she can continue to have this type of run. Like, if she was to finish the year, the last 21 games, averaging 26-9, that would have her finish the season averaging 23 points and 8.4 assists per game. And if you actually calculate her shooting percentage being at 51% as it's been for the last 11 games, that would likely increase her shooting percentage up to probably 46 or maybe 47%. Would that be enough to surpass A'ja Wilson? Unlikely, unless A'ja Wilson has some type of drop-off. And that's completely possible. A'ja Wilson can have some type of drop-off. Could her 26.1 go down to 25? Would that be enough to make it a conversation? I don't know. I can also tell you this, that while the WNBA media has chosen to ignore Caitlin Clark every which way possible, the current odds have Caitlin Clark right now at third. Yet she can't make the list for the CBS graphic. She can't make the list for the Ion graphic. She can't make the list for the WNBA graphic. She can't make the list for Aaliyah Boston's choice. I don't care about Candace Parker. Candace Parker has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. But sure as shit, Aaliyah Boston, how does she not notice what's happened? What that woman does for her and her team? And the odds aren't even close. On BetMGM, it's minus 800 for A'ja Wilson, plus 1,000 for Olivia Miles, and plus 2,000 for Caitlin, plus 3,500 for Paige, and plus 10,000 for Kelsey Mitchell. So apparently Vegas knows how to, knows this a bit better than, everybody else. So it's kind of ridiculous, guys. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Quite frankly, Olivia Miles is not having a better season than Caitlin Clark. She just isn't. She's averaging fewer points and fewer assists than Caitlin Clark. Like a substantial difference. She's only shooting a few percentage points higher than Caitlin Clark. She averages a little bit more in steals, 0.1 in blocks, half a rebound more. That works. That's great. Olivia Miles has not been guarded at all this year the way Caitlin Clark has been guarded. Caitlin Clark does not have the type of team around her. In fact, if you want to be completely transparent, that Olivia Miles has around her. Caitlin Clark does not have the coach that Olivia Miles has. These things all matter. And yet Caitlin Clark is still putting up better numbers than Olivia Miles. I'm not making it up. It's a simple fact. People don't like facts. They get in their feelings. I'm giving you the data. You can choose to do with that data whatever your heart desires. whatever you think, if after all I've given you, you still think Olivia Miles should win the MVP, well, that's your decision. That is absolutely your decision. But are you making that decision based on feelings or what is happening on a basketball court? I'll let you decide. But to not have Caitlin Clark on the graphic is a disservice to the league. It's an insult to Caitlin Clark, the player, and to have her own teammate diminish her to where she's not even in the conversation. Well, that's your snake in the grass right there. That's not people separating. That's not people creating a divide. That's the player's own mouth saying this. Again, it doesn't matter if Kelsey Mitchell's their best scorer. Kelsey Mitchell can score. But what else does Kelsey Mitchell actually do? Caitlin Clark still creates the most points in the WNBA, and it's not even close anymore. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Like the video, hype the video, subscribe to the channel. This is Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.